Well, Ulysses, things haven't changed all that much. It's still October, and the Rays are still out of the playoffs.
Yeah, very succinct and very brief. We still have some other things to dive into today. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social medias, X and Instagram, and email us anytime. We always love those mailbag questions, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Ulises, I imagine you spent much of the weekend not watching college football, not watching NFL football, but rather replaying the disaster that was Game 1 and Game 2 of the wild card series between the Rangers and the Rays, and maybe with a tear or two coming out of your eye watching the rest of the playoffs across baseball. Am I somewhat on track with that statement and sentiment?
Pretty close, man. It's especially when you see these other fan bases still being able to cheer on their teams. And my goodness, Camden Yards looked amazing. They don't look amazing going 0-2. So that's good.
Yeah.
I've always had this, and you know this about me because we've talked about this endlessly. In the last 4 years of this podcast, that when the playoffs are done and the Rays usually don't get past the first round, if we're being completely honest. 2019, our first year, ALDS. 2021, ALDS. 2022, wild card. 2023, wild card. So except for 1 year, we were out of the playoffs rather quickly. So we've always gotten to have the discussion of who are you going to be rooting for next?
Yes.
And my idea is always, you know what? I'm okay with the team that just beat my team to become the best team. So at least you could say, you know what? Lost to the winners. Lost to a tank. Nothing could be done. And right now, during this weekend, I saw the Texas Rangers play, and they look like a tank.
Yeah, that may very well happen, especially if the young guys like Carter and Josh Young continued to be on a tear. Like I said, in the series against the Rays, if the Rangers play and perform and output like they did in those two games, they could make quite a run. And as we've learned, being Rays fans, it does not matter what you did in the regular season, whether you won your division, whether you won 99 games, 100 games, whatever your record is at home, the playoffs are a different ball game. And I think the Orioles fandom and fan base is experiencing that. It's been a while since they've made the playoffs, and I think they'll continue to make the playoffs year in and year out. But this could be we're just stepping into waters here, just getting our feet wet, and then we'll be hopefully back. Well, for them, not hopefully for the Rays, but that they'll be back and better in future iterations. But I as of today, I would not be surprised if we see the Rangers advance quite far into the 2023 playoffs.
No, they look pretty good. But besides that, during the weekend, I started to formulate some questions. We said the first couple episodes last week were just venting, just getting it out of your system. Now, if we want to look in a deeper dive, we can do that. I've come up with 4 questions that I think we should focus on as a fandom. And I'm inviting everybody here. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button right now. It's okay. You can hit that like button. Nothing wrong's going to happen. Caminero is telling you to like it right now on YouTube. So
Caminero is telling Kevin Cash to play me. Put me in the ball game right now. Let me bat leadoff or bat second or bat third. Play the entirety of the game at an infield position. And let me hunt. Let me eat.
Juégame. Play me. Juégame. Yeah. Anyway, so hit that like button if you're on YouTube. And so I've come up with 4 questions. And if you're on YouTube, I want you to share if you have any head-scratching moves or non-moves that you found in both game 1 and game 2 that I may not talk about right now. So
Yes.
my 4 questions are these, and right now I don't have a big answer for all of them. Maybe for one of them for sure, but
Okay.
my 4 questions are these: why the long leash with both Tyler Glasnow and Zach Eflin? I went on a treasure trove hunt basically during the weekend, and I went on through all of Zach Eflin's game logs.
Mm-hmm.
I had the time, I guess, and I found a game against the Marlins on July 26th where he went 4 innings, Zach Eflin, allowing 5 runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Okay? That is very, very similar to a line that he put up not less than a week ago against the Texas Rangers, where he went 5 innings, 8 hits allowed, 5 runs, 4 earned, and 2 walks. My big thing with this, it's that when you look at the big meaty line of 5 runs allowed and 7 hits allowed, the big thing is that when this happened to him in July, Kevin, he had 53 pitches, and Kevin Cash pulled him in the 4th inning. Why, oh why, did Zach Eflin have to start the 5th? He did not have to start the 5th. He had just allowed 4 runs, and when you look at the total pitches that Eflin actually pitched on that game 2 was 75. So 22 more pitches than that game in July before, hey, guess what? We're going with somebody else. Why give him the extra 22 pitches in game 2 when you're facing elimination? But in July 26th against the Miami Marlins, he goes, you know what? We've seen enough, buddy. Let's give somebody else a try. And by the way, if you're telling me, well, maybe the score was different, you know what? Yeah, the score was different. The Rays were losing 5-1. That seems oddly like a 4-run lead for the other team. Like the Rangers had a 4-0 lead against the Tampa Bay Rays. So my first thing is,
okay,
why the long leash?
All right, we'll get to your other questions because you have 3 more questions to get to. And I am curious to see what the people on Facebook and social media have to say. I just find it funny, not wrong, but funny that for years and years and years, we've been complaining about the Rays removing their starters and taking them out prematurely. And now we're complaining about leaving them in too long. And also we have to consider the circumstances and everything tied to that. But maybe just playing devil's advocate, the idea or the thought is Zach Eflin, Tyler Glasnow, no matter what they did in the past, sunk cost, they still have the stuff. They still have the mentality to get right and push through and follow through on that next inning or 2 or 2/3 of an inning, whatever it may be.
For the first, I will say maybe Stockholm syndrome. I think now we've heard so much from Rays officials about 3 times through the order and all that now we've bought into it, and now we're like, hey,
which isn't wrong, by the way. The 3 times through the order does have some merit. Does have a lot of merit. I would say for most starters. I would say for Tyler Glasnow and Zach Eflin, maybe not so much. All things being equal.
Right. Yeah. So maybe Stockholm syndrome would be my cheeky answer. For the second one, look, I applaud everything that Tyler Glasnow and Zach Eflin did for the season. I just think that when your back is against the wall and you're facing elimination, you might just need to push some buttons, because as a front office and as a coaching staff, you are not in charge of how the players are performing on the field. That's on them. But you can push buttons. You can say, okay, I've seen enough. Yeah. Let's see the next guy in there. That's their job. That's why they're getting paid.
That is true. All right, we have more to discuss, but we have to tell you this. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Man, we know the Rays and other teams like to sneak in those hidden fees. You don't have to deal with that with Game Time, thankfully. And even better, you can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. Also with Game Time, they're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. They have deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It is the place to find last-minute ticket deals. So here's what you need to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. I'll spell it out one more time. LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Ulises, that's your first question posed out there for the listeners. What's questions 2, 3, and eventually 4?
Now I do need people's. I like your responses, Kevin.
Okay.
Put yours on the Locked On Rays video YouTube comments as well. We want if you have answers for these, cool. If you have any other questions that you want us to get, deep dive into, sure. But that was the biggest deep dive I did. The next 3 are more like Bueller rhetorical.
Real quick question for you.
Yeah.
Would you have rather, in that situation, have Zach Eflin or Colin Poche, or Tyler Glasnow or Chris Davinsky? Do you also, and maybe this is one of your questions, questioning who the Rays replaced? Oh my gosh. Am I a mind reader here?
How do you know me so well? Question number 2. Why was there no usage of your 2 best high leverage arms in the stable, like Robert Stephenson and Pete Fairbanks? Throughout the whole season, we've been going through this roller coaster of, the bullpen is okay, mediocre. Wait, the bullpen is horrible. We've never seen a bullpen so bad. Oh my God, wait, are they getting better? Yep, they are the best in baseball once again. Woohoo! Let's not use the 2 best high leverage arms at all. What was that? What was that? 2-0 game, men on first and second. Why the long leash on Glasnow? I didn't do the deep dive to do like a Zach Eflin comparison there, but I could do that. And I'm sure that I'm going to find another game like I did with Zach Eflin. No Robert Stephenson, no Pete Fairbanks. These guys that made your 8th and 9th inning look so locked down for the last 2 months of the season. Pete Fairbanks having a blow up. I think actually one game that we went to close out the season, Fairbanks, that's had a little blow up. But other than that, I mean, the guy was nails, and Stephenson was nails with the Rays. So you just completely negated the mound. And I understand like people that are going to be a little more PC than me. Like, our buddy Evan Klosky is going to say something like, well, it wasn't their lane. Well, they you don't want to burn them in the 6th inning, which to me, I would say, well, they burned Nick Anderson, who was the best pitcher the Rays ever saw in their bullpen in 2020, in 2019, the 6th, 7th inning sometimes.
Right. So
you can't do that to me. So that's question number 2.
Okay. That's a good question. And it's one of those things, best of 3. It's not, I would more so understand it of being maybe hesitant in a best of 7, but best of 3, you got to roll out anything and everything to advance to the next round, to the next juncture. And clearly we did not see that. And I wonder if at some point, I mean, if this continues to be an issue, have the Rays ever used an opener in the playoffs? I'm just throwing ideas out there. Maybe just get really cute and creative and really throw the opposition for a loop. I mean, what's so bad about, having Sean Armstrong start the game?
ALDS Game 5, 2020. Tyler Glasnow opens, quote unquote,
Okay.
and he just faces the first 9, and he did great. But yeah, he was like on a pitch limit because he was going on 3 days rest or whatever. But he did great. It was like 2 or 3 innings. So that's the best open I can find.
We may kind of see that next season, depending on the rehabs of Jeffrey Spring and or Drew Rasmussen.
Yeah, very true.
So, all right, good second question. Question numero tres. What do you got?
Tres. Why did Manuel Margot not get pinch hit for a lefty hitting player like Jonathan Aranda in Game 2 with a rally brewing against Jose LeClerc, who is a right-handed pitcher? I mean, you had the opportunity there to just push the last button. I know I'm not saying Jonathan Aranda was going to pull a 3-run homer out of his butt.
Yeah.
Even though the guy did have a grand slam like less than a week before that. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have options. You are the manager. Why are you not pushing the buttons? Guess what? If Jonathan Aranda strikes out and you lose the game, Jonathan Aranda doesn't have to play center field. You lost the game. You're going home.
Right.
Oh, he pulls something out of his butt and now you're all the way tied. Hey, guess what? Let's rejoice for a little bit because it worked and then figure that out. You can't just like do non-moves because like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're all going to be happy that you pulled that trigger. And then we're going to have to be like, well, that's the burn. That's the burn. You got to figure it out. Although I'm sure that you did have Jose Siri in the bench to play center field. So don't come at me. So that's question number 3.
Understandable. I guess playing devil's advocate once again is Manny Margot. We know the experience that he brings to the table, particularly in the playoffs. Moreover, the last couple weeks, he's been one of the most consistent, reliable hitters on the Rays. How many multi-game hits has he had? You know, he's really been performing out of his shoes when he's not out there playing defense in center field. So you could also add that factor of we're just riding the hot hand out here. And who knows what he can do with that 3rd, 4th at bat, whatever it may be, compared to a guy. How often does Jonathan Aranda come off the bench cold and hit when he hasn't been playing all game? That's a different mentality and a different focus as well.
Not a lot. And again, I know Neil Solondz likes to say, well, you know, you can't do coaching questions after the fact. I was yelling at this during left field, by the way, and people that sat in section 147, they were kind of annoyed, but I was saying, Jonathan Aranda, not Margot.
There is a recording of you on Barstool Sports somewhere.
somewhere somebody got that video.
It's time stamped, which inning, which pitch. Yeah. It's right there. There's no after the fact BS.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like the after the fact. I'd say it at the time, but so yeah, that's the one that's number 3. Although, gosh, do you remember that swing that he struck out on Manny Margot?
Manny Margot, the last at bat of the day. Yeah, that was. Really
that's the one. Like I would have liked to.
That was a Brandon Lau playoffs swing, quite frankly, or a Brandon Lau slump swing.
God,
some of the worst swings in baseball occur to Brandon Lau when he's mid slump, and very apropos for Manny Margot, except just from the right side. That's the only difference.
And that Jonathan Aranda couldn't have swung at that ball because he would have hit him.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And question number 4.
And maybe that's something going forward is you need to get these guys prepped and ready to come off the bench. If you're going to make so many maneuvers and switches and righty for lefty, lefty for righty, late inning substitutions, maybe that's a mentality thing of, hey, you got to be prepared and ready for this as well going
Which
forward.
They are. They're the Rays. They do this all the time. You know what? I was looking at this is how deep I got into it, Kevin. I went to game log number 1 of the 2023 season. The Rays are winning 1-0. And guess what? Kevin Cash pushes button. He went for Hale Ramirez for the pinch hit. He went to Luke Raley for the pinch hit. They both got single RBI knocks. Like he was making moves in the 6th inning. Why was this man just sleep at the wheel for game 1 and game 2? Just completely comatose. It seemed that Kevin Cash was there, but whatever. Number 4.
Kevin Cash was asleep at the wheel and had a Kevin Crash moment. Sleeping at the wheel leads to crashes, folks. That's my PSA.
Exactly. I like this. And number 4, who haven't I talked to that I'm going to talk to about next, Kevin?
Peter Fairbanks. No, I think I know where you're going with this one.
Exactly.
Let me guess.
Yes.
Somewhere, some way, somehow, Taylor Walls is mentioned in this statement.
Number 4. Did Taylor Walls need to start both games at shortstop? I don't think so, because he has, and this is the most politically correct I can say this, he has less than average stats against right-handed pitching. By the way, Nate Eovaldi, big right-hander. In game 2, Taylor Walls hits against righties. A whopping 179 batting average and a whopping 72 WRC plus. For those of you not familiar with WRC plus, 100 is average. 72 means he's 28 points below average.
I'm glad you brought that up, because those are his numbers in totality against righties. It's not his numbers against aces or number 2s or number 3s or high leverage relievers. That's across the board. That's median. So I know that Eovaldi had been struggling of late before the playoff outing, but I feel like that exacerbates itself to another level when you bring a guy of Nate Eovaldi or some other strong righties caliber to the plate.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, very well put. So these numbers should go down even further when he's facing righties that are not Jose LeClerc.
Right.
So it's Nate Eovaldi. So that's my 4th question. I don't understand. If you want to sell me on, hey, he's got really good stats against lefties, man, you got to get. Okay, fine. I'll buy it. I won't like it. It's like when somebody puts mushrooms in my food. I'm not.
It's on a pizza. You
Fine.
can live with it, but it's definitely
it.
not your first choice.
Yeah, I'll eat it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I am not eating Taylor Walls against righties. No, you take that back. I'm going full Karen mode on this. No, I need to talk to the manager. Literally, let me talk to the manager. I ain't having this. And I'm not having this. I'm not having this discussion that the proprietary database is saying that Taylor Walls is a god with the glove. So you can put its overall value. Overall value matters. Not just like, oh, he's really good at this one thing. No. Your back is against the wall. Your team is having an awful time putting runs together. This man is not going to help you do that. Push buttons. And in the 5th inning, he could have very well pinch hit for him. He did not. Grounds into a double play. And that's it.
One question I do have, maybe that lends some insight into Taylor Walls sticking around in that at bat in the game. And I know it's not used as often as it has been in previous iterations, but bunting ability. What is his percentile bunting ability? Because maybe that's a reason of we got to find some situation where we can lay one down, drop one down, and maybe have a Hail Mary of a shot of legging one out with a really solid bunt down the first base or third base line. So I would just like to know, I would just be curious, who are the most potent or strong bunters on the team? I don't know that off the top of my head.
I just looked it up. Let's remember that Taylor Walls' first year in the league was 2021. So this is his 3rd year. Can you guess how many sacrifice bunts are in his baseball reference sheet in front of
5.
him? Right? Close. 4.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad. For 2023, right? Like,
yeah.
Before this would be laughable. They're like, 4.
Right.
This guy doesn't bunt. 2023, you're like, oh, okay. He's laying a couple down. All right, I can see that. So there is a possibility for this.
I'm just trying to grasp at straws here. You know,
and I like this.
but he didn't show bunt, did he? I don't recall him showing bunt.
I don't remember showing him bunt, but again, I was pretty livid.
But there's the option. If we got a guy who can at least maybe lay one down.
And you know what? They did that last year, and then they were like, Isaac Paredes, co-lead home run team lead. No. Step back. We're going to put Taylor Walls here. He's going to show bunt, screw that up, and then we're going to try to swing with Vidal Brujan at first. He's going to strike out, and thankfully Vidal Brujan's going to steal second.
There we go.
Anyway, those are my 4 questions.
I have a 5th for you. I have a 5th question.
Before you give me the 5th question,
okay,
I think the umbrella for these 4 questions are
I hate Kevin Cash. Is that what? Is that the umbrella? Is that the TLDR version?
Yeah, it's like I need these questions to be asked to Kevin Cash. Why are these questions not being asked to Kevin Cash? I know that if you're a reporter, a journalist, you might not think like a fan, but these are questions that are not like out off the wall. Like, these have merit. These have thought put into it. Like, these have stats next to them. I would really like to see these being answered by Kevin Cash. And in the race conference, I didn't see one of them being answered.
Yeah, I have not gotten a chance to, and we didn't even have a chance to discuss the Rays press conference. That might be something we do later on this week. Some good little nuggets that came out of that. But my 5th question here, with all that has been said over the last 26 plus minutes, Kevin Cash is signed with the Rays through the 2024 season. He has a team option in 2025. There's been speculation not speculation, but I guess Terry Francona with the Guardians wants Kevin Cash to replace him someday. So I will ask you, Ulises, A, will Kevin Cash be the Rays manager in 2025? B, will he be the Rays manager when Publix Park opens up in 2028?
For the first one, yes, he will be the Rays manager in 2025. I think that they get that done because of the option. Publix Park, look, you can be every good manager has a shelf life. Nobody wants to hear it on Twitter if they have a Kevin Cash cape that they go to battle for this man. Every manager has a shelf life, just like this happens in every sport, just like in governments, just like, the voice gets tired. You
need a fresh voice, fresh perspective.
The shenanigans
the word gets stale.
Shenanigans get stale. Ask people if at the end in 2014, people were still like all about the Joe Madden antics. Nah, they were like, dude, can we please not have snakes in the clubhouse? I don't.
Can we not dress up like furries? Can we just play baseball?
Can we just play baseball, bro? Why am I in pajamas right now? Like, come on, Joe. What are we doing here? Look, I think Kevin Cash is a great regular season manager. He's shown that he's one of the best in the business. He hasn't shown me particularly. Maybe he's shown that to you, Kevin. Maybe he's shown that to other Rays fans. He hasn't shown it to me that he's a great postseason manager. I literally just have 4 questions. Why? Blake
Snell. World Series.
God. Let's not open that old thing. Look, I think ultimately he's going to leave, and that could be after 2025.
Could happen. I would say if he left, he would find another opportunity, be it with the Guardians or another organization. Let's also remember, man, he's probably going to be in it for the long haul, as he's just 45 years old. He's got some time left.
If he manages the Rays in 2025, that'll be 11 seasons as manager. That's way longer than Joe Madden, by the way. Longest tenured Rays manager, and that's a long time. I mean, what are we saying that Kevin Cash is going to be the next Mike Scioscia? He could be. I don't know.
The manager for Publix Park, or for the Rays when they open Publix Park in 2028, is Morgan Ensberg.
Oh, that's
Could
good.
be.
That's good. Could be.
He's well liked. He's a fast riser. All right, good stuff. I am really curious to see what people say about all of this. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.